Tadi pas Jumatan imam bilang, rapatkan dan luruskan saf biar setannya nggak masuk. Terus orang sebelah saya nyeletuk, kan setannya udah dapat hidayah terus mau ikut sholat. Masa kita halangi sih?
Di banyak negara seperti Eropa, Amerika, hingga Korea, kehidupan sehari-hari bergerak cepat sekaligus sunyi. Orang-orang berjalan terburu-buru, makan sendirian, dan menutup diri dalam rutinitas yang serba efisien. Bukan karena mereka tidak ramah, bukan karena mereka sombong, tapi memang begitulah budaya mereka dibentuk. Rapi, terstruktur, dan minim interaksi spontan. Di beberapa kota besar, seseorang bisa menghabiskan bertahun-tahun tinggal di apartemen yang sama tanpa pernah mengenal tetangganya. Di kafe, suara yang terdengar hanyalah bunyi keyboard dan mesin espresso, bukan candaan atau obrolan. Banyak dari mereka bahkan tumbuh menjadi pribadi yang introvert, bukan karena pilihan, melainkan karena lingkungan sosial menuntun ke arah itu. Dalam dunia yang dipenuhi kecanggihan dan kenyamanan, justru kesunyian menjadi konsekuensi yang tak disadari. Namun semua pola itu mulai retak ketika mereka menginjakkan kaki di Indonesia. Indonesia punya jenis suasana yang sulit ditemukan di tempat lain. Suasana yang hangat, lucu, spontan, dan terasa manusiawi. Di sini orang menyapa duluan bahkan tanpa alasan. Di sini tawa bisa pecah hanya dari obrolan receh antar orang asing. Dan di sini keramahan muncul tanpa syarat, tanpa pretensi, tanpa skenario sosial. Hal-hal kecil yang bagi orang Indonesia hanyalah kebiasaan, justru terasa seperti kejutan besar bagi para pendatang.
My single favorite thing about Indonesians is this unwavering optimism that things will just work out. Flat tire, mati lampu, your bus just got canceled and there's no clear backup plan of when the next schedule is, but no worries, gak apa-apa. It's just bisa, can do, and a clear smile like the universe has already approved this, don't worry about it. Massive leak in your roof during a rainstorm, water pump breaks, plans change last minute. Somehow people don't crash out. It's just gak apa-apa, santai. It's gonna be okay. There's a reason that stress hits differently here. Pessimists are prepared for a certain outcome. Optimists, on the other hand, are ready for anything, adaptable. They just have a can-do attitude. Hippo! Oi! Optimists are open to things looking differently than expected, and Indonesians are elite level optimists.
Salah satu budaya yang asik dan bikin aku culture shock sih, karena sama sekali 1% pun gak ada di Mesir, yaitu budaya lesehan guys, lesehan. Di pinggir-pinggir jalan sampai jam 12 malam ada budaya lesehan, khususnya di Jogja. Jadi meskipun ada bangku-bangku tetapi ini lesehan, duduk santai gitu di meja bawah gitu dan lesehan aja. Ya nggak tahu gimana orang Arab melihatnya, tapi ya orang Arab lebih kalau ke restoran atau apapun gitu memilih untuk yang ada bangku-bangkunya. Tapi kalau di Indonesia lebih memilih ke lese-lesehan gitu. Jadi culture shock sih. Ada salah satu budaya di Indonesia yang bikin aku takjub dan merasa bahwa apa sih? Nah, cowok di Indonesia itu sunat kalau pas kelas 4 atau 5 SD. Dan itu dibikin acara, diundang orang-orang datang, kasih uang, kasih hadiah, dan ada yang ditunjukin juga. Dan udah wajar kalau kelas 4 atau 5 SD itu, ya pasti setiap cowok di kelas itu akan ada seminggu libur untuk itu. Ya, bagiku itu aneh. Kalau di Mesir atau di budaya Arab, ya kami cowok itu sunat pas sudah hari ketiga atau pas seminggu dia lahir. Tidak sampai dia sudah di SD atau udah besar seperti itu.
Budaya aneh di Indonesia.
Pertanyaan kedua, budaya apa yang paling aneh yang bisa temuin di Indonesia?
Saya suka orang Indonesia, semua tersenyum. dan hati mereka yang bersih. Ya, orang Indonesia saya pikir terbaik
Sama.
dalam hidupnya. Saya sudah jalan 76 negara jalan-jalan dan saya lihat banyak orang lain. Tapi orang Indonesia yang terbaik. 100%.
Dan perlahan kehangatan itu menular. Bule yang awalnya pendiam mulai ikut nimbrung. Yang tadinya canggung mulai ikut bercanda. Yang sebelumnya terbiasa makan sendiri tiba-tiba betah nongkrong, duduk lesehan dan ngobrol sampai larut malam tanpa canggung sedikit pun. Di Indonesia, ruang sosial yang hangat membuka bagian baru dari diri mereka. Bagian yang lebih ceria, lebih santai, dan lebih manusiawi. Dan mungkin inilah alasan mengapa banyak orang asing berkata bahwa mereka merasa lebih hidup selama berada di Indonesia. Karena di sini manusia bukan hanya hidup berdampingan, tapi benar-benar saling menatap, saling menyapa, saling mendengar, dan saling menghangatkan.
Thank you for the happiest year of my life.
Culture shock jadi orang Afrika Selatan di Indonesia. Di sini, listrik nyala terus seharian. Kalau di Afrika Selatan, hidup tuh ngikutin jadwal mati lampu. Masak, ngecas, mandi harus diatur. Kedua, di Indonesia, jalan nyekir di luar bikin orang khawatir. Kalau di Afrika Selatan, nyekir itu normal. Ke mall, kadang ke sekolah juga santai aja. Tidak, jujur, di sini aku nggak rasa jauh lebih aman. Di Afrika Selatan, dari kecil udah diajaran buat selalu waspada, lihat kanan kiri, jangan jalan sendiri. 4. Delivery makanan dan belanja di sini cepat dan murah banget. Di Afrika Selatan, aku tinggal di peternakan anta baranta. Jangankan delivery, sinyal aja kadang susah. Terakhir, hidup di sini tuh sampai malam masih jalan. Kalau di Afrika Selatan, jam 4 sore semua tutup. Hari berasa langsung tamat, tidur aja. Itu kenapa aku suka Indonesia.
You know, one thing that I adore in Indonesia is that in Indonesian culture, it's not customary to give a kiss on the cheek when you welcome someone. So usually either you just say hello or you shake your hands. But in Switzerland, you should kiss 3 times on the cheeks of people that you just meet, just to greet them. And I hate this so much. Like, I don't like strangers touch their face with mine. Ugh. So yeah, thank you so much, Indonesia, not to do that.
So in Indonesia, you don't go to the hospital to get healthy. You can buy a house.
Culture shock di Indonesia part 7. Porsi makanan. Salah satu hal yang aku terkejut di Indonesia adalah porsi makanan orang Indonesia. Kalau pesan mie gacoan, aku pesan 2 piring mie gacoan, 1 udang keju, 1 lumpia, dan 1 es jeruk. Ini aku bisa makan sendiri. Gimana guys? Tapi menurut aku ini enggak banyak ya guys. Itu cukup untuk 1 orang juga. Tapi kalau orang Indonesia, mereka cuma makan sepiring aja, bilang udah kenyang. Beneran atau enggak? Teman-teman orang Indonesia pun juga bilang, wah, kamu makan sangat banyak. Dulu orang Indonesia datang ke Korea dan aku bekerja sebagai asisten dan kami pergi ke banyak restoran. Tapi kalau ibu-ibu, aku enggak bisa lihat ibu-ibu yang bisa selesai 1 porsinya di Korea. Dan banyak bilang porsinya terlalu gede. Walaupun aku kira ini cocok sama 1 orang aja. Gimana pendapat kalian guys? Berapa piring kalian bisa habis mie gacoan? Tolong menulis di komen bawah ya.
Pada akhirnya, Indonesia bukan hanya tempat wisata, bukan hanya negara dengan pantai indah atau gunung megah. Indonesia adalah suasana, suatu energi sosial yang mahal, yang mampu membuat siapapun merasa diterima, dilibatkan, dan perlahan berubah menjadi versi dirinya yang lebih terbuka. Karena terkadang yang membuat suatu tempat istimewa bukan gedung-gedungnya, bukan teknologinya, bukan kemajuannya, tetapi cara manusia saling memperlakukan manusia lainnya. Bagaimana menurut kalian? Tulis pendapat di kolom komentar, dan jangan lupa subscribe untuk cerita selanjutnya.
I'm going to tell you about one of my favorite things about living in a small town in Indonesia as an American mom. It's the fact that in less than a 5-minute walk from my front door of my house, I can be at a little corner store where I can pick up all my basic necessities from milk to eggs, flour and sugar, to dish soap or laundry soap. Anything, drinks, snacks for the kids are right there within less than 5 minutes. Sometimes my girls just need to get out of the house and we'll walk down to the shop and they'll get just a little box of chocolate milk or something, or a juice box, and it just brings a little adventure to our day. And the reason that this is so exciting to me as an American living in Indonesia is that this is not the case where I grew up in the US. And I would say probably for most Americans that didn't grow up in a big city like New York or Los Angeles with like a really vibrant downtown, suburban, regular, everyday America is really, really spread out. It easily can take a 10 to 15 minute drive in your car to get to any type of store that would sell like milk or eggs or some of those basic necessities. And it's always a culture shock when I go back to the US and I visit family and I think, oh, I just want, to make this recipe and I'm out of like flour. And it's like a whole production to get all the kids into the car and their car seats and seatbelts and then drive, 10, 15, 20 minutes maybe to the store that I want to go to. And yeah, it's a much bigger deal. But in Indonesia, it's so much simpler. I've lived in 3 different houses in Indonesia and stayed in a bunch of like Airbnbs and hotels while traveling. And almost always, no matter what town or what island we're in, there is these little tiny tokos, warangs you can just walk to and pick up the basic things that you need. And it's amazing. And of course, there's the added convenience of Grab and Gojek, which can deliver you these things right to your front door when you order them on your app. And I'm super thankful that it is so easy and convenient here in our life in Indonesia.
In Indonesia, you not just simply open a package, you film it.
Story time about how 10 years ago I got drunk and gave my motorbike to a complete stranger. So this happened in Jogja in 2016 when I was studying there in Universitas Gadjah Mada. And I usually don't drink, like I hate alcohol. Don't ask me why. That night I went out with my friends to the club and I drank alcohol. Problem is, I can't handle alcohol. Maybe because I usually never drink any. Anyway, I was completely wasted. So I left my friends, I went out to get some fresh air, and there was this Indonesian guy that I didn't know who was helping me out. He took me to this protected area that was reserved for the security guys, and he helped me to lay down on the couch there so I could rest. Unfortunately, I was so drunk that I started puking everywhere, and it made me feel awful. I kept begging the security guys for forgiveness, asking them to find me a sponge so I can clean out the place. Like, I felt awful. And the security guards, they were so sweet, like calm, and they were telling me, don't worry, this happens all the time. So obviously I had to go home. And this stranger, this Indonesian guy who was helping me, he asked me for my address so he could order GoCar. And when the car came, he helped me get into the car. And that's when suddenly I remembered, hey, my motorbike is parked here. And the guy was like, just don't worry, give me the keys and I'll bring you your motorbike tomorrow. Because obviously, I don't know what I was thinking, but I couldn't drive. Like in my state, it was impossible. So what do? I just give him the keys. I didn't even look at his face this whole time. My eyes were almost always closed. I had no idea what he looked like. Didn't know his name. Just gave him the keys. And I got home safely. I went to bed. I had a good night of sleep. When I wake up, slowly I start to remember that evening and everything that happened. And I realize that I gave my motorbike to a complete stranger. I go outside of the house and I check just to make sure. And indeed, my motorbike was not there. So I get a call with a friend of mine that was with me that night at the club, and he tells me to call the owner of the motorbike because it was a rental, to say that it was stolen, but I couldn't do that. And deep down, I had this thought and feeling that I always met amazing Indonesian people. Why would this time be different, you know? So I was like, I'll wait. And a few hours later, someone knocks on my door and I open it, and here he is with my motorbike, the stranger with long hair. I don't remember his name. I don't even remember his face. It was 10 years ago. But I will never, never forget his kindness. Honestly, the Indonesian people I met since I started traveling here are just priceless.